Hello, YouTube again, and this is Latte Punch. I am back to reading again. It's been a long time. I didn't mean to be away for so long. I just really don't have an excuse for it either. But I'm gonna try and be back at these videos more often. I'm glad it looks like I have a few more subscribers for whatever reason. So, thank you guys for joining, and I'll try and upload more content, like I said, more often. This story, you can tell by the thumbnail, is a Danganronpa story called Brass Rings by Miss Evil Muffins. I will give you a link in the description below. It's on fanfiction.net. So let's get started. Summer says kids aren't going to get themselves anywhere if they don't reach a little. Sumiki rides a carousel. I overheard Sonya-san inviting Tanaka-san to go and see a movie, and I saw you just sitting here by yourself in the library, and I started worrying, so I thought that maybe no one has invited you anywhere yet. And please, take this. Sumiki bowed her head, arms outstretched and shaking as she presented him with a trip ticket. Kameda set down the book he had been reading, only to stare up at the girl, expression blank. I'm so sorry to bother you, she wailed, after a few seconds had passed without any response. I'm sure Nanami or Hinata invited you out already. Of course you'd rather go with them. I really don't blame you. Kameda stood from his chair, waving his hands, clearly surprised that anyone would assume that he would have been invited anywhere until now. No, Nanami and Kanata are actually at the beach right now. I definitely wasn't invited. Though he accepted the ticket from her, Sumiki couldn't help herself from continuing. Even if no one else invited you, I'm sure you'd rather keep reading. I shouldn't have interrupted you when you were busy. She glanced at the cover of the book, resting at the table, wondering for a brief moment if she could be considered one of Holden Caulfield's ponies. Sumiki-san, I'd be honored to go with someone as talented as you. After some discussion about where the two should go, they decided on the carousel at the theme park. It did seem like the safest option, considering Kameda's luck cycle was surely due for a bout of bad luck at any moment now. He insisted, considering how Sumiki invited him out was definitely good luck. However, Sumiki insisted that should one of them fall off the horse, she could easily patch them up. I patched myself up all the time before we came to this island. Sure, falling off a carousel horse is no worse than being pushed down the stairs. Upon hearing that, there was no way anyone would be able to say no. Kameda thought, deciding that he would do everything he could to keep her from coming to harm during their date. Now that he wasn't absolutely certain that she was capable of healing herself, but what if her being injured prevented her from attending to someone else who might have an accident during the field trip? If he wanted to see her perform her talent, he could certainly wait. Something was bound to happen to someone sooner or later. He was on the island with them after all. He was the sole rider of the candy-colored attraction. None of the other students had chosen to ride it at the moment. Commander wondered if it was another case of good luck or just normal happenstance. Lately, he had been trying to convince himself that not everything that happened on the island came about because of him. He wasn't that important. And thinking that way all the time would only invalidate both the good and occasionally negative effects that came of the other performing their talents day to day. But at the same time, he found it difficult to believe the voice in the back of his head. After all, this was the same voice that had told him that his parents would be coming back safe from their trip. The voice that had told him it was safe to let his dog outside. He had never seen Sumiki look so tranquil before, as the blue horse she'd chosen gently bobbed up and down, salty sea breeze ruffling her hair in such a way that the choppy bits no longer showed, blowing in with the rest. Are you going to grab the brass ring? He asked, watching her from behind the ticket gate, though there was no ticket taker present. Why? Simigi asked, sitting more rigidly up on her horse, fearing she had gotten something wrong. Am I supposed to? I'm sorry. I can't even ride a carousel properly, can I? Kamina laughed. It was in a book I was reading. Old-fashioned carousels used to have the ring game, but most modern ones don't do it anymore. They're probably afraid of kids falling off when they reach for them. To be honest, though, I think that kids aren't going to get themselves anywhere if they don't reach a little. But then again, it's not like I know all that much about what parents think. Miki seemed to recall the chapter in the book now, and they were thinking the same one. Oh, I'd never been to a carousel before. I was worried that maybe they all had the game and I was just being stupid again. It's such an old fashioned thing. I'm sure a lot of people don't know about the rings. I just read too much. Are you enjoying it though? Riding the carousel, I mean. Oh! Sumiki's face lit up in surprise. Not only had he accepted her invitation, but Kameda had also cared about what she thought. What an incredible day, she thought. And they had only just arrived at the park. It's wonderful. The way it goes up and down so gently. It's like the floaty feeling you get in your head when someone hits you really hard. Only nothing hurts. I'm glad. He smiled. Some time passed not. It was hard to keep track. It would seem that the carousel was set to run until someone got off of it. No operator or ticket needed. Do you want to ride? Sumiki asked cautiously. I'm fine over here, he tried to assure. I had a big lunch. In reality, he had only eaten a few nibbles of his toast. He loved carousels. He always had. Some of the best memories he had of his parents were the times that they had taken him to ride one. Sumiki was having such a wonderful time. Who was he to spoil it for her? She was better off with him sitting right where he was. Besides, it wasn't as if he wasn't still enjoying himself. Watching the usual fretful nurse relax and smile was nothing short of a treat. It was no wonder the patients would feel at ease under her care, if she would smile that way for them too. Sumiki soon piped up again. Should I play the ring game? Do you think? Would that be alright? Of course! I'm not sure what the prize would be. There's no attendant to give it to when you do get the brass ring. Maybe Usami would have something if you give it to her, he mused. After waiting through one more revulsion, Sumiki outstretched her arm toward the ring dispenser, leaning as far as she could, before the smooth metal of the horse's painted saddle began to slip away from underneath her, the ground and fence rushing toward her. She closed her eyes, bracing herself. However, what she fell onto was soft and warm wrapping around her. Sumiki opened her eyes. Humeda, expecting this might happen, had hopped the fence, safely cushioning her fall. Her eyes widened as she looked up into his face. It would seem that he surprised himself catching her in time. She pushed the ring into his hand, and managed to catch one after all. I won. The end. Okay, that was a cute little short story. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I want like I'm gonna try and revolve between LP stories a few times in the week and non-MLP stories every once in a while too. So thanks for listening. I'll see you guys probably next week, maybe. So thanks for see you then.